I was asked how I did the skirt rigging that I posted the other night. And it's a little difficult to explain in text, so I figured I would make a video just to kind of explain it. This is not a technique or method that I created. I actually have no idea who first came up with this. I remember seeing it on Twitter like a year or two ago. If anybody happens to know who the creator of this is or whoever first thought of this idea, it'd be really cool to know. But moving on from that, each layer of your skirt, so you can see I have a top layer here and a bottom layer here, will have two parts. You have your clipping layer, which I will make visible to you now. And you can see it's like a bell kind of curve, just the general shape of the skirt, just from like a front-facing perspective. And then we have our skirt texture, which is clipped to this. And I'm going to unclip it so you can see it. And so you can see not only do I have the texturing that's visible to the viewer from like the front default angle, but also I have little side pieces here that go off. And so when the skirt turns, more of that becomes visible, and it appears as if this is a three-dimensional object which wraps around the body, opposed to just, being stretched. Because if you have your skirt like this, not separated, and this is all that you have, you're going to be stretching these side pieces here, and it's going to be very apparent that it's not a wrapped three-dimensional object, right? So once you have your clipping layer here, which is bell-shaped for the skirt, but not always the case depending on the style of your dress or your skirt or whatever it is that you're using this method for. And so this is always going to be hidden, so we're going to set the opacity to 0. And we're going to make sure to clip our skirt texture to that. And so the skirt texture and the clipping layer move separately from each other, and this also helps with the kind of 3D effect, right? So I'm going to show you which each parameter does, right? So I have my hip movement parameter. This is what affects the physics of the skirt. So you can just see here, I'm going to make this a little visible. I don't really change this all that much. I just make sure to accommodate for the body shape as the skirt turns, because as she turns this way, her butt and hips are going to be a little bit more visible. And since this character is skinnier, the front of her skirt kind of will come in a little bit to hug her body because she's twisting around, right? Here is the first skirt physics here. So this is skirt X, and there's a little bit more motion here on the clipping layer. You can see, again, they move separately, but I just drag most of it out. And same with this, it's just grabbing this here and just pulling it like this. Just like that, to reveal more of the skirt. You want to reveal more of the side. Like that. And so for your skirt X, like the first one, you'll want to kind of affect not only the bottom of the skirt here, like the trim, but you'll also want to try and deform the middle part here. And for your skirt X2, you're going to want to focus more on just the swishiness of the bottom here, of the trim, so that there's like a little bit of like a different kind of swish, and you'll repeat this for each layer of your skirt until you get something like the desired result.